Every time I walk into this room, you've got some audacious, crazy title or something else, and this week is no different. I don't know why I walked into this thinking it would be any different, and I shouldn't say anything. I should have saved it for the recording.
What title? What are you talking about?
Nah, no, 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 don't. Me and you one day will fight, and you know what? I don't care if I'm dying while I'm fighting. I'm gonna make sure you know what you're doing, man.
But I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. Stand on business.
Maintains his.
You know what? That's the hater supreme's gonna be me when we talk about a set aside. That's cool. I'm ready.
Look, bro came out here to represent, and I'm getting hated on straight away.
See, you just redeemed yourself, and I like you again, so this is okay. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you both. This is untitled number episode, whoever knows, of the Nation of Conversation, Stamp Stories, Jay Miller, Hater Supreme. I want to get your immediate reactions to Raw on Netflix. Am I allowed to go straight to the elephant in the room, or are we going to do it structured with how it was presented to us?
Let's go with structure. Let's go with structure.
Yeah, let's go as they did it, as they did the show.
Right. Okay, fine. I'm going to keep the timestamps. Please, people, forgive me if I'm writing down and looking at my phone. As I was watching the show today while looking after the puppy, I was writing notes on my phone. The first thing that happened, we went straight into, Triple H coming out. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, same old. It's typical stuff. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It makes sense that he would come out. He's been very forefront about the shows that he presents and what he wants to do, and he's always going to be the person to come forward and speak about it and then get the crowd pumped. Fair enough.
I really liked it. I liked how they did the whole cube, and they were showing the history of wrestling, and I like how everything felt very close. Like the arena had the most people in it apparently, but everything felt like it was right near the ring. Even the ramp was like very closed, and I like the whole presentation. I like how they got the show started. It looked much more cinematic. It looked like they were on a new platform. So yeah, the opening, no issues with it whatsoever.
Am I the only one who's crazy here and thinking, you've obviously watched WWE before on the WWE Network, and I feel like that was in 720p or something, because I'm now watching this on Netflix, and admittedly I told my partner, hey, I'm paying toward this as well, give me the highest quality possible. And now the footage that I'm watching on Netflix in real time, and say Backlash early this year, I went back and watched it, everything looks really, really good. And I'm like, I kind of want to go out tomorrow and buy a TV. Someone talked me off this ledge. I don't want to go out and buy another TV, but I'm this close because this looks good.
I think that everything looks astronomically better. Like camera angles, the like general presentation, how crisp it looked, especially when The Rock came out initially and they sort of had that camera angle where he was walking, the lightning was. I was like, yeah, Triple H is taking it to another level.
Yeah, cinematography. Jay, how did you feel? Did it feel any different to you? Was it just me that saw?
So it wasn't that I didn't feel any different. It felt really nice. The only thing is I don't have the real comparisons of what it was before versus now. So that's why I'm not as able to draw upon that experience, I guess. But from what I saw, at least, yeah, it's just everything's clear cut. There's no issues. I mean, really knew that we were getting a better product from once certain things and people were gone. So it's just like, yeah, we're just living it up at this point.
Immediately, Triple H said his speech, everything went dark. And in my head, it said to myself, whoever comes out here is pretty much, it has to be someone big. Like the first person you show who's not obviously running the show, it has to be big. And I felt like the final boss, you've delivered. Fine, give me him. I'm all in. Now, admittedly, it wasn't really playing toward the character we know on TV as the final boss, but that was just The Rock just talking and saying, hey, business is business. It felt like the businessman more than the final boss. Am I wrong here? Am I off the mark?
No, completely fair. No, completely fair. Clearly by design, he just wanted to talk to people as The Rock, maybe more so Dwayne, which is, again, fair enough. I don't have an issue with it. It may be deconfirming everything about the fact that he might not be able to wrestle this year. We don't know. They could still throw that spanner in the works, but we'll just have to see, and what he's going to do on NXT tomorrow as well.
Okay. Hater Supreme, your thoughts?
I was so pissed off at that whole angle. Like, I was immediately like, what the hell? Because I understand kayfabe and all that. They've pulled the curtain down. Even Triple H in the press conference was like, you guys know what's going on. But there was so much hype around Cody and The Rock and Roman that I felt like, okay, The Rock could have been like Dwayne the businessman, but he could have seen Cody in the front row and they could have done a whole angle. I really don't know what the point was in blowing smoke up his ass. It made do that in private. I'm not trying to see that. I'm trying to see the final boss. And Cody's there smiling. My man dragged you outside in the rain and beat you, cussed out your mum, and then whipped you. And then put your blood, and then Mama Rose and then you're there like hugging each other and shit. I know it's kayfabe and storytelling, blah blah blah. I was like, why am I watching this? Like, do this behind closed doors.
You wanted to go straight to the storyline, whereas I was happy with, hey, this is the business part. We'll get to the story just after them. But I get what you're saying in that you'd rather that have been kept off camera. No matter what, we live in an era where everything's recorded, and you're going to see it one way or another.
It was an extension of what Triple H was already doing. Triple H opened the show, said, "We're here on Netflix. You know, it's a new era. Blah blah blah." They did the whole video package, and The Rock came out to blow smoke up the Netflix executives' asses. We know you're on Netflix, bro. We get it. We know that you're a big part of the board. I'm happy for him, but I don't care, bro. I'm there to see you and Cody. And then basically him hugging Cody, and then you know what he did later on, we'll talk about. It's just like, I guess we're not getting that story then.
We can still get that story.
We could.
You know, we can still get it. You know, this is the company infamous for, hey, you thought everything was great. Next day, what? You thought everything's sweet. Listen,
It's not a done deal just yet, but it will feel very weird for them to pivot so hard to suddenly Rock versus Roman or anything like that at this particular time, not after everything we just heard. And it's weird, but who knows? We'll see.
Fine. So with that being said, let's go straight to the first match. Roman versus Solo. How do we feel? Entrances? Any immediate thoughts come to mind? What are we saying?
I'll let Mike go first on this one.
I was very, very happy with this match. They made Solo look strong. All the necessary players got involved. The right person won. My only gripe of this is that, again, The Rock comes out on Twitter. He puts that he's the High Chief. They made a point of pointing that out several times, that The Rock is the High Chief of Samoa. So I was like, oh, they keep on saying High Chief. Is that higher than Tribal Chief? And then he takes the Ulafala. He puts it on Roman. I was thinking to myself, he's going to take the Ulafala from Paul Heyman, look at Roman and put it on himself, and everyone's going to go, oh, shit. He just put it on Roman. I was like, bro, why are you there if you're not going to do anything? It's fucking
hey, all right. That part, I'll interrupt. Like, that's just, it's a sincere sign of respect at that point. That's the thing. Like, it's a big deal. Like, more so for them than it is for us.
That's
like,
not final boss.
It's not. You're that right. It's not. It's Dwayne. It's literally moment to moment. When he was saying all the stuff he was saying about Roman after Cody, that you could clearly tell there wasn't character. That was just family familiarity and love there. We weren't gonna get that tonight. That was just, there was no story at that point. We kind of knew that. At that point, it was just like, yeah, the tease was still there, which is nice because we always want the tease, right? But when it happened, I was like, okay, that's for them. Like that's just
to put it into layman's terms. To put it into layman's terms, Hayden Supreme walked into that looking for final boss. He got Dwayne, the businessman, and he was not happy. That's okay. I know at some point I'm going to get the final boss. I like that character. And I'm obviously eager for it. We've seen a lot of hinting, even the way The Rock's mannerisms in the ring as he was presenting Roman with the Ulafala. Have I said that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I don't want no Samoan werewolves coming after me. I just want to make sure I get that absolutely crystal clear. Just the little mannerisms can build toward a video package later on with The Rock wasn't happy with this. The Rock wasn't happy. Like, the more he does here, the more you can start to pick this out later as there's a hint here, there's a hint here. But obviously it's not built to anything yet. We don't have to rush through the storylines. We know this is a very long telling of bloodlines, Samoans, etc., etc. Even now, the right person won with that result, in my opinion. I agree to Roman Solo. It's been back and forth ever since just after WrestleMania last year, with Solo taking control, etc. We're now in January in 2025. Where does it go from here? Before I move on to the next topic, do you two have any predictions of where Solo will go from here?
I don't know where he goes from here because obviously his whole character was about wanting to be the tribal chief and he didn't get that and he got again. And I mean, you can't really keep challenging Roman at this point. Like, I think that chapter should actually be just closed, done, finished. He needs to do something else, build upon something else. Maybe in the distant future, challenge again. I don't know how, but it doesn't really make sense for him to keep going after Roman at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hater?
I don't know where the story's gonna go now, because I thought The Rock was gonna take over and it was gonna keep Solo relevant as like the fake tribal chief. So now I don't know. It's very clear that the new bloodline are kind of over with the crowd. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a sympathetic version of Solo where, like he kind of had some points where he did everything he could for Roman. He was just treated like a grunt. So he went out and got his own family. I can see the crowd turning on Roman again, but not in the sense that they did when he was the big dog Roman Reigns, just in the fact that the storytelling kind of makes Solo a little bit sympathetic. I think Jacob's going to turn on Solo because he lost and he's a psycho. I think Jacob's going to attack Solo, which will help make Solo a sympathetic character because Jacob's already super over and they clearly want to push him as a heel. What better thing to do than Solo basically tell his animals, we have to acknowledge Roman, and they're like, nah, like, we're gonna fuck you up now.
That was going to lead to my next question. Will Solo acknowledge Roman?
Yeah, I think Solo will. I think that's what's going to cause a dissension between the new bloodline.
I like where Mike's direction is going. I think it's probable. I think it's definitely possible. I think we'll see basically Solo in reflective mode after that because, I mean, again, he voiced everything he was saying. He was very vocal and emotional during the entire match, which for some people made it look weak. For some people made it look strong, but it made sense. It was validating the character of Solo as well, probably more so than any other match he's had. So it's plausible.
I want a yes or a no from you. We're not going to skirt around on the great. Give me a yes or a no. I want to hold you accountable if you get it.
I am going to say he actually will on this one.
So we've got two yeses. I'm going to be different. Say no. Something's going to happen. So we leave it at that. It led to a New Day little talk, and I wrote down the note here. New Day nuclear heat is wearing off.
Yeah.
Am I crazy for thinking this?
No.
Even
I was like, they were talking. I was like, and even is her name Kathy?
Yeah.
She was trying to grab the mic, Jackie, she was trying to grab the mic from Xavier. Like, all right, like wrap it up. Like it was dragging a bit. The crowd were a bit like, oh, I don't care. We don't care, man. Like you keep coming out, and you're leaning on the fact that you screwed Big E over. Big E's already been spotted doing his commentary stuff anyway. It kind of feels like stories kind of lingered a bit too much on the same thing and people don't care anymore.
So you yourself also believe the heat that they had when they first came out with this angle is kind of wearing off now. It's like, come on, you've got this attention on you. Give us do something with it.
Yeah, what they should have done is because Big E's an analyst and he was in attendance, they should have attacked him like there in front of everybody. That would have been super nuclear. Attack Big E on Kofi and Xavier, see him there, so come out something stupid because the whole angle started from the basis of snaking. Attack Big E and then continue that momentum going forward. But they just got on the mic, they said a bunch of things that no one found really like. And then they went.
Jay?
I think a bit differently to both of you. I don't think that he is fading necessarily, but I do think they're in danger of doing the whole thing of where they're not talking or they're still referring to E or like, oh, we're just telling the truth. They're repeating themselves an awful lot. It's been 2 weeks of the same thing. And although I think they still definitely have the heat, frankly, y'all are really going to do something. Like you did the whole thing with the people that either have loved them or do love them, turning on them. Do something with that. Whatever they do next week legitimately has to be not only genuinely impactful, but they have to move on from the whole telling the truth / Big E thing. They have to do more now. Otherwise, it's going to be like, okay, well, we should do the same thing week in, week out. But that's just me.
Okay. Like I said, I felt like they said it. Hey, we did this Big E, was telling the truth. We're just telling the truth. And it's like, right, You've said that before. You got heat for it. Good heat. You got to do something with this. If you keep saying that week after week, we're going to stop caring again, and it's going to be hard to reignite that flame that you found by, knocking that wall down and saying, it's your fault. So that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I've got another point here. It says John Cena appearance. Will he win the Royal Rumble? The way he built, I could win the Royal Rumble. Whoa! And I was like,
I
okay.
really want him to win the Rumble. He ain't winning the Rumble. I don't think so.
I don't want him to win the Rumble. And
I do. I do. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I don't think he will.
Go on, Hater.
What I think will happen is he'll do really well in the Rumble, but I think they're going to subvert expectations and have him win at the Elimination Chamber, and then go for the title that way. I think John Cena winning the Rumble again doesn't really do much for anyone. I know it's his farewell tour, but I think the point is to get a championship on him. You don't necessarily need to take away the Rumble win from someone new or someone that is going to be there to get John Cena there. So I don't want to see him win. I want to see him have a strong showing in there and then go into Elimination Chamber and get the job done.
I like that. That's telling the story. The moment John Cena's music hits, all eyes are going to be on the Royal Rumble. Like, okay, pay attention. How does he do? Like, that's a lot more investment in that particular person in the ring than usual. And when he gets eliminated, you will hear, well, if he does get eliminated, we would hear the crowd go, and there's more story involved. This is a very story-driven Royal Rumble. It feels like now with John Cena.
If you want to get heat on somebody, like have Cena look like he's on a roll, and then if you're really trying to get someone over as a heel, have them eliminate Cena. So you've killed two birds with one stone. You've made the people, like, you've whet their appetite for Cena to win the Rumble to go to Mania, so you can put him in the chamber because people want to see that. And you've also put some heat on someone new that might have needed it.
And Cena gets the feud with someone for a while to build up his path to retirement and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it sounds like we're all in unanimous agreement. John Cena is not going to win the Rumble.
I don't think so.
No.
For those of you watching at home, if you feel like leaving a comment, let us know. Do you believe John Cena is going to win the Rumble? Do you think he's going to win Elimination Chamber? How will he get that opportunity to wrestle at WrestleMania for the title potentially, or Lord knows whatever? Okay. Next note. Liv versus Rhea for the 100th time. I'm sorry. If anyone within the organization's watching, I don't want to sound like this, but again, let's make this story. Let's wrap the story up. We're good. Rhea's obviously won the title. It looks reasonably decisive. Can we move on now? What's next?
I sincerely hope so. I sincerely hope we can move on. I don't hate either person, but I'm just over this. I'm over this. I think most people are. I don't think we're saying anything that isn't like an echo at this point. I don't know whether WWE do rematches like that. Like, I might be getting my wires crossed in terms of, like, I don't think it's a case of like you gotta usually earn it now rather than just like immediate rematch.
The rules change.
So yeah, I know. So in this case, I'm kind of hoping we're not gonna see an instant rematch again. I'm over it. Like, they've tried everything, did everything we're always going to see from a Liv match at this point. It didn't work out. Okay, can we finally move on? Get rid of some new blood. Let's go.
Okay, Hater.
I think that Liv and Rhea are awesome talents. I like both of them. I think Liv had a really good year. Rhea is always impressive, but that feud was so mind-numbing at that point that I wasn't even interested in the match. The match itself wasn't bad. I think it ended pretty well. It's pretty decisive. I think now you got to do Io versus Rhea leading up into Mania. I think you start to build towards that because Io's got a lot of momentum on her side. People are still rooting for her. They took her out of the Intercontinental Championship run, which I was a bit like, that's weird. Maybe they're going to let Io win the Royal Rumble or something. So I would like to see that just because there's chemistry there between them. Also, in that match, I do like the fact that she kicked Dominic Mysterio in the balls. You know, she wrapped that up. Dom had it coming. But Undertaker came out, and I was like, why is Undertaker here? And he comes up, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, Undertaker's here. You know, it's Raw on Netflix. He's going to do something. Just drives away. I was like, what the fuck was that about?
Reasons. I mean, get him on the show. I don't know.
It was just business. Here's our Netflix big wigs. Dude, come to the show. You're going to see some people. You saw The Rock. You saw Undertaker. We saw someone else. We will get to that. We will get to that. Booed out the building. We will get to that. Yeah,
Wait,
we'll
hold
get
on.
to
Oh,
that.
can I say something?
Go
I
on.
Hey.
think that if you're gonna have Undertaker there, use him for something. He clearly
Agreed.
likes Rhea, so what they could have done is that Rhea had all of these people against her. Why not make it look like they're gonna screw her over again? The lights go out. Dominic holds a tombstone. Undertaker attacks. What's her name? The bodyguard.
Raquel Rodriguez or Raquel?
Raquel Rodriguez. He disposes of her, and then Rhea gets the W, and then they walk out together. Then it's got some actual purpose, but all they did was aura farming. That's what it was. It was aura farming. It was like, well, let's get a big pot. Undertaker's got Max Hacky. Bring him out there, send him back. I was like, why? What's the point?
The scenario
Rhea
you just
wasn't having
described.
anyone do anything for her though. That's the thing.
What's
Yeah,
that?
the scenario
Rhea's
you
not really
just
one
described.
who gets assistance for that. She doesn't really do any of that.
Well, Damian Priest has been assisting her pretty much this entire time. So
Yeah,
Damian
but in
Priest is meant
what
to be
match has
like-
he gotten involved with her unless they're actually in a match together?
I'm pretty sure he's run to her aid a couple of times. There was that time where it
I
wasn't
can't think of
necessarily a
any.
match, but Rhea got jumped, and
Yeah, that's
Look,
different. That's jumping. Like, but in a match, like,
That's
I don't-
what I'm
I can't
saying,
recall a
like-
time, yeah.
let's say that the referee gets knocked out and they all start attacking her. They called, what were they calling Damien? Bisexual Undertaker, right? He's come out
You
multiple
didn't hear that
times.
from me, Damien. He said it.
I listen, Damien Priest is awesome. I think he's great. But like you could have even had Undertaker and Damien Priest. Think of the memes, bro. Think of the memes.
It would have been
There was-
kind of funny. I'll say that.
Why was it Damien Priest there? They're terror twins,
I
right?
hope there is no one who's never watched anything to do with social media is like, oh, sorry, they're calling him what now? And it's just, oh, he said it. He said it. Sorry.
Everyone knows the meme. You could have done
I
something.
mean, it's
there.
not been a thing referenced as much as of late, but yeah, it was a thing at least one point.
The situation Hater described to me was a PLE payoff where, all right, cool. Undertaker does something in the ring, whereas this is just a glorified Raw. There's a few more appearances, but this isn't the normal. It's just you've seen a few famous faces, but it's not always going to be up here. It's going to be more down here. So at the same time, I get Hater's point. If you're going to have Undertaker come out, have him do something, but him just showing up again, you're never going to get past the whole something's happening. Bong. Whoa!
I'm
That's
fine
just-
with Rio winning on merit, really. That's for me.
I think about the replay value, and there's no reason for me to ever go back and watch that. Whereas I could show someone that Undertaker came back and he chokes. He had another choke slam in him. He had another last ride in him. It's just like he came out. There was a bit of aura farming. He went back. Didn't really even make any sense. What's the connection between Rhea
Agreed.
and Undertaker? Maybe you could have done a
There's
whole thing
none.
where she like dabbled with the Judgment Day's dark forces in the beginning. That would be the connection. I just feel that was a waste opportunity.
Yeah, there was no other.
connection there, it's just there.
There was no other storyline going where Undertaker would fit into, like Hater described, perhaps Judgment Day, etc. But really, they've got no interaction with them. They've never had, and I'm thinking, no reason for them for Taker to be involved in the Bloodline Tribal Chief match. No reason between Jay and Drew. No reason between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Like, he had to fit in somewhere, and at least he wasn't trying to, hey, everyone, I'm gonna sell this thing to you, and again.
Yeah, you keep referring to it. You can't help yourself. But hey,
I
I'm
know,
hold my tongue.
right,
Don't you
right.
worry.
Allow me to fast forward a bit. Lots of guest appearances out in the crowd. Topanga was my highlight. I mean, white wine, white milk, white greatness. I don't know. Just Boy Meets World. The pop, what's his name? Home Alone dude.
Culkin.
Yeah, that pop was ridiculous. They love him.
People love him up. They've always have though. Like he's never really done anything to put himself out of graces with people. So yeah,
Not
fair
gonna lie,
enough.
I saw Seth Green and said to myself, "Oh, he looks like the Home Alone dude." And wouldn't you know, the camera pans to him like, "Oh shit!" And then bam,
Bro, he got a bigger pop than most AEW wrestlers. That pop was crazy.
There was going to be no mention of AEW whatsoever, and my man hit the bingo card. If you at home have a bingo card of does Hater mention AEW, drink that shot, cross that off, do whatever you got to do. We got it.
Organically
right.
placed.
Was there any other guest appearances you was happy to see in the crowd or whoever they highlighted, etc., or we can move on?
Mel's cool. Mel's cool because he's done a few things at WWE before, so he's cool.
I thought it was funny that they had Rey Mysterio there and LA Knight was sitting next to him and they just went away from LA Knight for a moment. But then I think
they
someone
came
was
back.
like, "Oh, put the camera back on him, man. What are you doing?"
Yeah, that was a bit shady when they did that. I was like, good, put it back on him. And when they showed X-Pac and they didn't show his name, I was like, you better fix that. Go back and fix that. And they did go back and fix that. So I feel like they're just trying to get their hands wet or feel out how to do this presentation thing. Because you could tell, I don't know if you guys watched it live or watched it on replay, but there was moments where like the audio cut out,
Yeah,
etc.
I was watching it live. I haven't slept yet.
Yeah.
What?
I haven't slept.
Really?
I haven't been to bed yet. I did
Okay.
my live stream yesterday for 4 hours. Went straight into Monday Night Raw, and then I was like, "Damn, I got to be up for work soon." So I just stayed up.
You know, okay. We won't make this too long. We won't make this
No,
too
no,
long.
no, it's fine. I went gym today as well, man. I'm in good spirits.
I don't know what you're operating on, but fair play to you.
This guy used to accuse me of taking PEDs. You know, we'd walk into the
Wow.
locker room, and he'd go, how's those PEDs working out for you?" Yeah, you,
Oh,
bro.
me? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I did say that actually. Yeah, but I wasn't actually serious. I was trolling. Like, no, I know you're one of the few legitimate people. I've got a friend who's the same way. He's just legit, but he's built like an ox, and people always say, da, 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 da. So, no, I don't honestly believe you are on performance enhancing drugs. I got that PED terminology from listening to Stone Cold's podcast. And when he used to say PEDs, I laughed at that and thought, I'm going to start throwing that at people without any like proof whatsoever. And I knew it would like, hold on, it would trigger him. Let me use this. Yeah,
It went around the office, yeah, to the point where one girl was like, "Do you have acne on your back?" I had to show her. I was like, "I ain't got no acne on my back, man. Where'd you hear this from?" She was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's going around." I was like, It's that
Listen,
fucking
I've
stamp
not gone around and said he's on PEDs. I don't need to do that.
spreading misinformation on my name."
I'll still do that anyway. But anyway, no, I didn't do that. I only joked about that to you. If someone was in earshot hearing that, that's above me, man. You got to take that with God. It's above me. But anyway, I have here written Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. And my immediate thoughts was the appearance of a Mr. Travis Scott who just showed up there and just kind of deadpanned the camera and just did nothing. I was like, this is kind of awkward. Then Jey Uso's music broke out, and I'm like, Jay's gonna come there and they're gonna link up and all that kind of stuff. Lord have mercy, my man hitting the joint on camera, and I'm like, you know what? This is Netflix. And I saw also the post-Raw footage of Triple H saying, "I'm so thankful." Not to quote, but Triple H saying, "I'm thankful Jay didn't do that because if he did that, could have been a bit tricky." So, Jay, kudos to you for on the spot saying, "Nah, I'm good, man. I'm just gonna feed off the crowd." Yeah, but that was sick.
That could have been very techy if he accepted that. The match itself was mid, in my opinion. The roll up was a bit of an unsatisfying end, but I guess you kind of protect Drew McIntyre a little bit because he didn't get outright like knocked out and then pinned.
Yeah.
And then Jay's obviously like he's riding the momentum wave right now. I understood why they let Jay win, but the match itself was a bit like, it was one of the more whatever matches of the night.
Jay,
I think they'll have a better match in future. The result in the way it was presented was a bit surprising to me, but it's not that it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You have the time to really make Drew cynical, clinical, and just for him to absolutely go ape. So it's not a bad time for it to happen. It might focus him even more now, and then he might go on to do even bigger things this year. So we'll see.
Okay. I want to just take a moment to acknowledge Jey Uso's efforts in stepping out of the shadow of Roman Reigns and becoming his own just big name, big draw, big reaction from the crowd. Just it's mind-boggling to see him come out and just see what Jey Uso is now, as opposed to way back when the whole which twin, etc. And he's trying to become his own right-hand man. And I just want to acknowledge that.
Kind of sucks for Jimmy though, man. Like I feel like I think Jimmy's funnier. And I think he might be a better wrestler than Jay. Maybe not a better entertainer, but I think in ring, Jimmy might be slightly better. And I want to see him do something other than just being Roman's. He's basically Roman's right-hand man right now, and he's kind of just there with Sammy. Jay's completely off on a different planet, and it's kind of like they're the Usos. Like they should both be up there.
Real quick question. What gives you the impression real thoughts, because I'm saying I don't know either, by the way. But what makes you feel as if Jimmy has even really been able to do enough to stand out to be prolific as the better wrestler Uso wise? Like, I just legit, we've not seen any of Jimmy other than singles versus Jay, I guess. We've not seen
Yeah,
a lot of
we
him at
haven't
all.
seen him in too many single situations, but when they were wrestling together, I was always more impressed by Jimmy. Even when you look at the War Games match, Jimmy's performance in the War Games was more impressive than Jay's. I feel like Jay, he has like cool spots, but even his frog splash, like Jimmy's frog splash, is better than Jay's. It's probably like a minor nitpick, but Jay like really like leans into the entire thing. Sorry, Jimmy really like goes for the entire thing. I feel like sometimes wrestlers will do a frog splash and their knees will hit first. Sometimes it's not a proper frog splash. It's minor things because they're twins, but even the way they hit the super kicks, I feel like Jimmy slightly got him on that.
Okay.
Sorry, you know when you mentioned the frog splash really quickly, sorry to interrupt. Me just getting the flashback of Liv Morgan doing her frog splash. I'm like, please never do that again.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it sounds deep, but I never want to see her do a frog splash again. I don't.
Since you've mentioned that, I also want to lean into, can everyone stop trying to lean into doing this business to try and get some
Jimmy,
cheap heat? Enough. Let Eddie rest, man. Eddie's like, come on, not another person. Liv, you've got nothing to do with me. Stop it. You're not even family in any shape or form. Don't try it. The cheap heat for Rhea, maybe because, Rhea jumped Rey Mysterio, etc. But Liv, you got nothing to do with this. No, enough. Anyway, it's time we get to address this. Because I saw my WhatsApp chat, a certain someone skipped past it, and then they decided Hulk Hogan makes an appearance, and the crowd boos him. And I'm thinking, are the people at the back sweating over this decision to have him show up, promote his product? Obviously, older audience probably like, I used to watch it, but now in today's time and age, the people are more than happy to be a bit more vocal with how we feel about you. So let me get the raw reactions, no pun intended, WWE don't come after me. May I first start with Hater Supreme, only because I know Jay has got a lot to say.
I think that his reactions are going to be dependent on what state he's in. Obviously, we know why he's getting those reactions. I found it kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. I wasn't one of the people booing him. I was happy to see Hulk. And the reason I was happy to see him is for the same reason that people had been happy to see him for years, post the whole like racism thing coming out. A lot of black wrestlers supported him and said, he's not racist. He just did shit behind closed doors like a lot of people do. And it leaked. People could have their opinions on that. But at the end of the day, Hulk had come out after that and people cheered for him. He's endorsed Donald Trump. And so depending on what states he goes to now, he'll get cheered or booed. The same way I think Batista, with his endorsement of Kamala, and he was very vocal about it. I think that, especially the way he went about it, because Undertaker and Kane endorsed Trump as well. But I think the way Hogan went about it was a bit more in your face. He was out at the podium. So because politics is very polarizing, if you go to a red state like maybe Texas, he's going to probably get cheered. It's going to sound like the real American cheers again. If you go to somewhere like they were in LA last night,
yep,
yeah, he's going to get booed. So it's going to be dependent. So if I was Hulk, I know that was probably rough for him. It looks very awkward. I felt a little bad for him, but I think that's going to be dependent on where he is.
Okay, that's a very honest take from the man who calls himself Hater Supreme. He's now Neutral Supreme. Jay Miller, would you like to give your opinion on the matter?
Okay, so I'm gonna be upfront with all of you. I've never liked Hogan. I've not liked him from day one. Little boy Miller watching Rock versus Hogan, people turning on Rock. I'm there like, what's going on here? All right, skip forward because that's irrelevant information. I'm just giving you the real talk, right? So, me personally, I saw it. I skipped immediately. Then for the purpose of the podcast, I was like, you know what? I need to see what's going on and just so I have a real opinion, right? And thank the Lord, my guy got booed out the building and it was beautiful. Oh my God, I love that. No. I'm sick of him. Listen, he's done. I don't. To me, I don't give a crap. I haven't given a crap. And just everything about the presentation of why he was out there to me was tone deaf. Like, to me, he's just the old man who, yes, fine, he was a big part of wrestling. I get it. Like, I get why he has a space. He will always have a space, regardless of whether you like him or not. I get it. But like, you literally threw him out to the wolves, tone deaf as hell, trying to do what he normally does. A lot of people have wisened up to why they don't like him. Like, even forget about the racism for one thing. Like, there's many reasons as to why you don't like the guy. Like, it's not even just about that. It's about all of the other BS he's pulled or other things he said no to that don't help the business or whatever else. There's so many various reasons why you might not like the guy. But then to have him like try and push this fucking beer on to everyone, it's just like, really? Like that's your reason for being out here? Like, actually go away, Heat. That's like the only time where I can think to myself where it's like he was given go away Heat. Like, he did look legitimately like, damn man, this may have been a bad idea. Like, he didn't expect that. Like, I didn't expect it. Not to that level, right? So for me personally, I was like, you know what? Sometimes good things do happen. That's me being a hater. That's me being a hater outright. I do not care. Like, I get him out my face. I don't care. I don't need to see him ever again. I don't. But
okay.
At the same time, I do hope that he doesn't actually have to experience that again. As much as I don't like the guy, but I just hope they also don't do something so tone deaf again either, because it's not really good for anyone when you think about it that way. That's how I see it.
Hater, I can see the cogs in your head turning. Is there anything you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, like, I get why people don't like Hogan. You know, he's lied, he's politics his way backstage. Much like a lot of wrestlers, I think the spotlight gets put on Hogan a lot because he was the biggest draw for so long. I think personally, because he signed a multi-year deal with them now, I think he should just lean into his Hollywood Hulk Hogan gimmick and come out there. And when he knows he's in a state that people don't like him, just start trashing everyone. And that will probably drive up sales of your real American beer in states where people do like you. So if you're going to be there, you might as well lean into it. They're going to hate you anyway, so you might as well start cussing them. Then when you get to Texas and they're like, oh, look, it's Hulk, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, he also cussed out that crowd. I'm going to buy his beer. That's what I would do.
The less I see that motherfucker, the better.
His appearance
I like Hulk Hogan.
I wonder.
I just want to say that I grew up watching Hulk, obviously. Both when he was in, obviously had to go back because I was born in '92, so I wouldn't have been able to see Hulk when he was like champion, whatever, in WWF. But when he went over to WCW, I watched him there. Like, I like Hulk the character. I'm sure the man is probably not a stand-up. Maybe he's not a stand-up guy. I don't know. A lot of these wrestlers have shady dealings that go on behind closed doors, and they're not who they present themselves to be. But the idea of Hulk Hogan, you know, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, you know, do the right thing. I remember that era of wrestling, and I really enjoyed it. And I also really enjoyed the NWO version. So when I see Hulk, I feel like a kid again. And when I saw him getting booed, I was a bit like, I don't really like this very much.
Spot for him.
I've got a soft spot for Hulk Hogan.
I feel bad for you personally for the fact that you like him in terms of that, and you saw him get booed. That's the only thing. That's the only nice, and that's only because I like you as a person. But in terms of Hogan as the person that I saw him be, so my first collective thoughts of him would have been SmackDown 2002, 3. So when he was doing the whole Mr. America thing and all that stuff. I didn't really care for him, and obviously, like yourself, I'm 1991, so I'm a year old. Like, I didn't really get to see him during his prime time. Like, I saw him after he come back, all this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't really care for you. And then even going back to doing this, seeing his other stuff, like, I can see why he was a big deal. No one can deny you can be as much of a hater as you want. You can't not see where the money came from, right? I get why. I just didn't care either.
Okay. So with that being said, y'all know my thoughts. Boot out the building. Listen, Hogan, I don't need to see him. He is not necessary for the product. If he signed a multi-year deal, if you told me, I can understand WWE using him because he will resonate with an older audience. Hold on. Excuse me, I had to cough. I don't know if his appearance made him sell any extra beers. All the more power to him, all the luck to him. But I'm obviously not the greatest Hogan fan. But I'm in the middle between you two, and that's not me trying and have this podcast dynamic. I'm just It was all right. Sometimes it's not all right when I hear things about him outside of WWE, and I'm like, you know what, whatever. So without drawing this out any further, let's get straight to the main event: CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Any immediate takeaways, thoughts, anything, grinding your gears? How do y'all feel?
I think the match itself was pretty solid. I'm a bit. They clearly had the thing of making Seth feel like the heel of that match in particular, where from offense to the amount of offense, the result being the way it was. I feel like Seth did a lot of the back work, if I'm honest. I don't think that's unfair to say, but in terms of both of them doing what they needed to do to get to the result and get the match through, I think it was a great match. I think it was entertaining.
Okay.
A bit too clear cut, maybe, but other than that, I think it was a great match.
Hater?
I didn't like the match very much, but I don't like matches where they overuse their finishers. It takes me out of it. I'm like, if it's a finishing move, how are you kicking out of it like 5 times? I mean, Punk got hit by the curb stomp twice, and then the GTS, and then the GTS, and then the curb. I was like, well, these guys.
And
are
then
like
a pedigree
stupid.
as well, I think.
Pedigree, buckle bomb, like it was a lot. Like he was getting hit by everything and just kicking out. And I was like, I get it, like it's a big time rivalry, but I think you can use your signature attacks rather than your finishers over and over again. So I didn't really like that. I like the fact they were being very stiff. It looked more realistic. But I kind of felt bad when I saw Seth lose because his angle in the story made more sense to me than Punk's. Punk did go away and trash the company. The company did lean on Seth Rollins, and ultimately the company chose the guy that, shot on them for years over Seth Rollins. So it's a bit like, I like Punk as well. Like I want to see Punk as world champion. So I was a little bit torn, but when I saw Seth sitting there looking at him, I was a bit like, kind of Soldier Boy out.
Okay. Feels like they were trying to bring a PLE premium live event. Hey, kick out finishers into what's supposed to be a regular weekly Raw showing. But again, we understand what we got here was a weird, blurred, like Saturday night's main event, where it was kind of it wasn't a PLE, but it was kind of given that nice shine and advertising like it is going to be one. I think going forward for the future Raw episodes, we won't see people kicking out of each other's finishes so often. And I would like to return to a time when if I use this move, you're not kicking out. If it's a very, 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 very special occasion, it's been years or most of the year of the story build up and we're at WrestleMania, then you can kick out that one time like we saw with Cody versus Roman and everything. But otherwise, it takes away from this is the move this person's known for. It will put you to sleep, no pun intended. That's it. 1, 2, 3, we go home. But at the same time, also understand the reactions with everyone going.
To me, it felt like they were doing more than one match there, because I don't know if they're gonna return to it so soon. If they did, then it really doesn't make any sense. Like, even if I don't feel like it makes sense for Seth to go after him like next week or anything like that. I think the next time they revisit it has to be a good while from now, in my opinion. That might not be what happens. He might get them next week, but to do all of that, not get the result, he would have every reason to want to go after him. I get it. It's just, again, the pacing of Seth's offense and how much he did versus what Punk had to do to get the win, it made little to no sense. But
I also think that the match was kind of recycled. That match happened in AEW against Jon Moxley, down to the finish. The finish was exactly the same.
Well, really, the double GTS.
Yeah, off the rope. Even the landing, everything. You can go and check. It's 2023.
I can only think they did it intentionally then because they're Shield member. I don't know if that's truly the case, because I can say I did not know that. But
it felt like a jab to AEW. The entire match felt like a jab to AEW because AEW is kind of known for no selling. They just continuously no sell every devastating move. So I felt like I'd seen the match already, and it's not that it was a bad match. I just felt like they overused their finishers, and maybe Punk winning makes sense because he's come back now, build him up, get him a world title. Seth has been world champion multiple times. Yeah. But I did feel bad for Seth. I feel like Seth has been getting shafted a little bit ever since Cody came back. He's kind of playing second fiddle. And just speaking about Cody and finishes, I feel like Cody is one of the problems of this whole finishing thing. Because Cody's created this whole thing now where he hits you with his finisher 3 times to beat you when it's like up against like big matches. But then he'll fight Chad Gable on Raw and hit his finisher once. So what does that say about Chad Gable? It's kind of created this thing where it's like you're hitting people with 5-6 crossroads and they're kicking out. So your finisher looks weak. But then sometimes when you use it on Monday Night Raw in a regular match or SmackDown, they don't kick out after one, and it's a bit like, oh, are these finishers anymore? Like, what are we doing?
It's a common enough issue. I wouldn't say that's just Cody, but I see what you mean. He's not the first one to be guilty of that kind of thing. He won't be the last either, but I get it.
You know when Randy used to even recently, like hits the RKO, the match is over. You get hit by RKO, you're dead. In more recent times, people have been kicking out, but historically, no one really kicked out of RKO. No one really kicked out of Tombstone. So I felt like it was good to have protected finishers, but they spam them now, and it's a bit like, ugh. And I feel like Cody's a big proponent of that.
Okay, fair commentary. I like the match. Again, I know this is a one-off Raw special, if you will, and this is supposed to be a weekly event where it builds story for characters who aren't seen on PLEs and whatnot, and just give something extra toward whatever event's coming up. So I'm not mad at CM versus Seth. Good enough match to me. Yeah, I've got nothing too crazy to say that you two haven't already addressed. But I will ask one question to both of you, and obviously you can give me your thoughts before we wrap this up. Raw Netflix, did it deliver? Hater.
I'm gonna say yeah. I think that overall the product delivered. Because normally Raw does a couple of things here and there where I'm like, oh, you could have done this better and that better. So I wasn't expecting a perfect show. I think the main problem for me was The Rock, which is a shame because I was most excited to see him. But the product itself and what they're trying to do and how they've changed everything up and the new camera angles and giving it a fresh new gloss, the new referee outfits, the ring as well. I thought I was going to be really pissed off at looking at Fortnite advertisements on the ring, but it was fine. It wasn't a problem. The general set design was really, really good. So I like the drone. They used it a bit too much, but the drone shots were pretty good. I like how loose it felt as well. Like the commentators felt a little bit more loose. Travis Scott came out like blazing. People were saying "fuck you" Solo, and it wasn't getting censored. So I was like, I like it. I like where they're going. There's something special here. I think it can only get better.
Okay, Jay, did Raw on Netflix?
Speaking of which, there's something you said about commentators being loose. Cole was having way too much fun yesterday. Jesus Christ. You've got him talking about breeding for some reason. You got him talking about yeeting. I mean, that's not the first time he said that stuff either. Don't yeet on me, blah blah blah. But I'm like, the breeding part was like, really, Cole? Like, what?
Pat McAfee sounded confused. And Cole kept going, and I was like,
that was hella random. Like, it was like, really, Cole? Like, why? But yeah, no. To be fair though, like you go from him being as rigid and it's boss time to him just having fun. Like I will say, like, yeah, you're a bit too much for maybe, but loose and him actually being able just to not have to have someone in his ear, like it goes a long way. It clearly does. Like he's able just to be himself, speak himself, make calls, and some of them can be amazing. So
yeah, you saying that reminded me of the Dark Era Brie mode and it's boss time. These little sentences they say to try and get kids to catch on to it and say it as a catchphrase.
Like really forced and just like, oh, he has to say this particular thing right here and it will make it stick. And it's really forced, and then you've got people hating on the guy, the commentator, despite that's just he's doing what he has to do. He gets paid,
Right. For me, Raw Netflix, it delivered for me. I wasn't expecting a PLE. I was expecting a more glossier Raw than usual, which it was. It's the first on Netflix, and again, they've taken this as a learning experience, and they're probably going to improve the product as time goes by. I understand they didn't deliver for everyone because with the way the build-up was going, it felt like that could have easily been a PLE event with you've got Roman Solo, championships switching titles. I made an incorrect prediction about Tiffy cashing in during the first Raw Netflix to, make that a thing, but did it on SmackDown before that, so never mind. Yeah, I will pay attention to SmackDown. I don't think they're going to call it SmackDown on Netflix. It's just you can see it on Netflix now or something, right?
Yeah.
It's still, I think it's still part of USA.
Right. So for us in
it's
the
just able
UK,
to
we
watch
can
it on
watch on
Netflix,
Netflix,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
they might have different circumstances. Okay. And we also know The Rock is due to make an appearance at NXT. Unfortunately, I won't be able to find time to watch that, but I'll be paying attention to catch ups, social media posts, and WWE this and that to see what did he do there. Or was he just
Is NXT on Netflix as well?
yes? For us in the UK,
so.
it will
Okay.
be.
Yeah, this whole Netflix thing is a dream come true, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
if I miss something, just open up my phone while I'm working, I'll just pop it there, and that's it. Like watching wrestling for the longest time feels like such a chore, and it was just like I got so sick of it. I was just like, I'll watch YouTube highlights. I'm good with that. Now it's super accessible. I can pause it. I can come back later on. It's this whole Netflix era. I'm very optimistic for it.
Do
I'm
we know
very-
how long it's...
I'm very excited to see what their first PLE is going to look like on Netflix and how much they're going to put into it. I think the first one's Royal Rumble, right?
Correct.
I think that it's probably going to be a memorable one. And I just want to give my prediction for the Royal Rumble. I think if they've got any sense. So this was my prediction before Monday Night Raw aired. Now that Monday Night Raw is aired, I don't think it's going to go this way. My original prediction was that Cena was going to come out and really dominate and do well.
Okay.
And then Rock was going to come out at entrant 31, right? Because he's the CEO.
Oh,
Right,
that
he's-
was insane.
Right, he's the-
the
he-
final
he-
boss
you
said
are-
I'm the last one.
Yeah, he's the board of. He's on the board. He can change the rules on the fly. He comes out pissed off. Cena's in the ring thinking he's won the Rumble. He comes in at 31, final boss throws him out. Nuclear heat now on the High Chief. John Cena becomes sympathetic babyface again. Everyone wins. That was my original prediction.
That's genius, though. That is genius.
But they're not going to do that now because Rock just threw the entire story under the bus.
Listen, we got a whole no, you're right. There's not much you can do in a month, but The Rock doesn't have to. He doesn't have to go as the final boss. He doesn't have to go by logic or reason or build up. He can just, I'm doing this because I want to do it. Get the ass out of the ring. But that's a brilliant idea. So far, I don't think we've ever had, say, an extra one person as a participant in a Royal Rumble since it's been introduced as a thing.
Never happened.
That is a brilliant bit of booking, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Y'all can let us know in the comments if you've got a better idea. But that's brilliant, in my opinion. Abuse your position in the company. Yeah.
Outside of
Oh.
Rock, outside of him though, I think this is the most unpredictable Rumble that we're probably ever going to see. There's so much talent on the roster that could win it. There's so many, even in the women's division. I wouldn't be mad if a couple of girls from NXT came up. I wouldn't be mad if a couple of girls on Raw and SmackDown won it. I can't tell you who I think is going to win the Rumble this year outside of my prediction about The Rock. I think it could go in so many directions.
I haven't got any predictions for you yet. It's too soon. Jay, do you have any you want to give?
Way too soon, but there's two things. One, I didn't give my whether it delivered or not. I was too busy talking about the goddamn commentators. It definitely delivered in terms of this Raw. I got everyone talking. You got people way back past the future wanting to get more into it. So I think it definitely delivered on that front. And it was interesting regardless. So I think it definitely delivered. Two, how long do we actually have Netflix on WWE on Netflix for, if anyone knows?
It's a multi-year deal. Given it's billions invested, it's gonna be maybe 3 or 5 years at the very least.
I was thinking 5 years, but I don't actually know the actual like how long it is. I'm sure it's probably on some dirt sheet somewhere. But
I'm guessing
Mike's
at least 3.
It's a 10-year partnership.
Jesus, there you go. See, this is why you ask questions. So that's that's amazing for us.
The way it works is it's a 10-year partnership, and the agreement is that if it performs to where Netflix wants it to, then there's an additional 10-year extension with an option to opt out after 5 years.
Okay.
So it really depends on the performance and the numbers that it brings in and what it does. And I think they'll probably see the biggest numbers during PLEs when everyone wants to watch those things and they're willing to pay.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that'll also keep them on the product while they've got their Netflix subscription. Okay. Right. My final note. I would have loved for Charlotte Flair to make a return. It's not her time yet. So
Oh, thank God.
We'll leave that topic for another time. Do you two have any other further pressing matters you want to address before we call it a night here?
I do want to say that I'm very, very happy that there was no buffering situation, because after the whole boxing situation, I was like, there's going to be way more people watching wrestling, I reckon. And it didn't buffer once for me. Quality was crisp. I like the whole new setup. I'm wondering if SmackDown is going to get any sort of update, because it's just going to look very outdated next to Raw now. I like the fact that they used some of the old theme songs. I don't know if you noticed, but when they were like doing intermissions, you heard some of the old Raw themes.
Yeah.
I was imagining that. Okay, I'm crazy. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, so it was good. I think The Rock is really the only thing that took me out of it. But other than that, it was good.
Okay, Jay, any last notes?
No, honestly, I was pretty happy with it. Hell, even the thing I didn't want to witness made me laugh, so I can't even complain. I'm not sold on Rock not doing absolutely anything just yet, because they do like to pull a swerve of some kind. I'm not saying he's definitely doing something either, but we'll just see about it. So I'm not too concerned or upset about it, regardless of what happens, because whatever we do get is going to be good. I don't have any doubts on my mind about that one. So yeah, I'm content.
Fine. So with that being said, gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. That is the first episode of Raw on Netflix. We will obviously watch this space, no pun intended, to see what happens, what comes about. Royal Rumble coming up. I've already said I'm staying up to watch it. I'm hoping to get enticed one of you two or both of you to stay up and watch it as well. And in real time, we can react to whatever happens. Hey, number 31, make it happen. Surprise us. But I know Mike's going to start screaming, that was my idea. Nah, I'm kidding.
Bro, Triple H used to get me on the booking team. I might miss sometimes, but I guarantee there'll be hits. I'll turn every negative into a positive. I'll have Hulk Hogan go out there and trash people when he gets to blue states.
Okay, listen. Just for that, don't enlist this guy. Nah,
all right, Jay.
Get that guy out. Get him out of my life. He's done.
Hold on. Let's think about it this way. Let's deal with the reality of the situation. Hulk has been signed to a multi-year deal, right? That's the reality. So if you're gonna have Hulk make appearances, why not utilize them properly? If he's gonna appear on Raw, he's gonna appear on SmackDown, he's gonna promote that bit. Wouldn't you rather him stop coming out there trying to be buddy with everyone? And he comes out there and he just starts trashing people. That should be funny.
Serious reply. Anything that means that he has less screen time, do it.
Right. We don't need to break this down. It doesn't matter. I didn't even mean to say that line. People, thank you for joining us. If you like what we're doing, same as always, like, subscribe, leave a comment. You know that usual YouTube jargon people feed you. We're going to feed it to you too. You will see us in the very near future again, possibly for another Raw breakdown or a SmackDown breakdown. And keep an eye on the bonus episodes we're going to be throwing your way. I have an idea that I'm going to propose to these two gentlemen once this recording stops. You'll see soon. Have a good evening. Take care of yourself. Look after yourselves. Stay in good health until the next time we do get to see you, etc., etc. That's it.